Hi there, and welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Tattoos podcast. A podcast about tattooing so great it'll tear the pants right off your hind end. I'm one of your hosts for this show. My name is Ryan Othis. You can find me online at bettertattooing.com, the YouTube channel of Better Tattooing, and on Instagram at RIAN_OTHUS. My co-host for this show is Brian Matthew. You can find him online at the Scarlet Veil Tattoo Parlor, a Tailored Fit Tattoo Gallery, or Brian Matthew Illustrations, or Brian Matthew Tattoos on Instagram. Just a heads up for everyone who's listening, we're going to be going to a bi-weekly schedule for the next couple months, just while the holiday season passes by. I know on my side, I have about 14 different nieces and nephews who have birthdays, including other people in my family. So we're just going to need a little bit more time to make sure that we're going to give you guys stuff to listen to. So, anyways, let us know what you think. If that works, I guess you can probably pressure us into recording more often. But if everything is good, thanks. And we'll see you at a more regular time in the new year. If you like what we do, please give us a follow, subscribe, like, any of those things, even a rating or review on the podcast platform of your choice that you choose to listen to us on. And also be sure to tell your friends. We really enjoy all the support we've had so far. And we'd like to keep it going. So thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the show.
All right.
It's a talk show about tattooing so great it'll tear the pants right off your ass.
Talk show about tattooing where we absolutely very rarely discuss tattooing.
Yeah. What was I gonna do? I got a couple
that
people.
guy Jake's comment.
Yeah,
on
dude.
Facebook?
Yeah, I liked
like
the
love
written.
everything you guys do. Blah blah blah.
No, it wasn't
like,
you guys,
cool, man.
It was you. You have a fucking another stalker, bro.
Jake's a tattoo artist. He's been all over the place. Got tattooed
cool.
by Ed Hardy last year.
What? Isn't Ed dead?
Yeah, something like that. Must have got tattooed like right before he died or something. But
No shit.
I don't know if Ed Hardy is actually dead.
Hang on, let's hit Google right now. Ed Hardy. Let's see. Don Ed. Oh no, dude. Evidently he is not. He's 77. And he's
I thought he was still just living out there in
he's in San Francisco or some shit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
San Fran. I think his son works at the tattoo shop with him or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. I remember.
It's all hard to keep track of.
That dude has like a fucking museum in San Francisco, doesn't he? Like some big tattoo something or other. That motherfucker was prolific in saving every one of the fucking paintings he's ever done. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. It's an old boy way of doing shit. Now it's all in the cloud. I'm going to share my cloud with the world.
I've been thinking I have so many drawings and stupid shit saved. I was like, I could just do one of those random sketchbook things that people seem to be doing, but I'm too lazy to do that. So what if I just tell people to give me money and I'll send them an email?
I'll give you a PDF. Get fucked. Yeah. Dude, I've got a fucking, it was a 50-gallon tub, like just underneath here. That's got like, just, it's stuffed. Like, and I have a weight on top of it, actually holding it all in the bin. And that's just shit from like the past 5 years. It's nothing.
Right.
And that's just the paper shit. You know, that's not like any of the actual like sketches or any of the other stuff. We've got boxes at the shop because when I started working with Alex up in Kent, she was just recycling everything after it was done. I was like, nah, get fucked. Like, you got to save this shit. So I like put like a huge box underneath the printer area. And every time that you get done with the design, save it. You know what I mean? That thing is so full.
I have quite a few folders of drawings from throughout the year, and I used to actually care and like I would label them like drawings 2000 2010, 2013, etc. And then like right around 2014 or 15, I just stopped giving a shit. So nothing's labeled, nothing's organized.
It's in a fucking pile. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So there's a neat section, and then the rest is just a tornado.
Yeah, dude. I worked for one guy. He'd been tattooing, I think, when I worked with him for like 30 something years or some shit. I mean, 35 or 38 years. And he had, I mean, everything that we did, you can never throw it away, right? It all went into this file, like, well, he had a row of filing cabinets with like dragons, stars, heart, like everything, right? So if you ever wanted to find reference quick, rather than even going on Google, you know, it's something that was good enough to be tattooed. You just go and fucking flip through the folders and grab something as a reference quick. It's kind of cool. As soon as you got done with your thing, you'd fucking tuck her in there as well. I like that. I like that.
I'd never be able to do that because I constantly hate seeing my old work. Like I see it and then I'm like, God, that's so fucking shit. You know, I judge the shit out of it just like 5 minutes after I draw it, and then I realize that I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be a creative genius such as yourself, I've been noticing. So I'm still just drawing like this whole morning. So I got home at like 2:30 a.m. It was a fucking long day yesterday. The last client I had was, I thought it was just like a simple little light cover up or something on someone's back. And it came in, it was a triple cover up, 2 different tattoos, two different parts of the body, plus a rework. At the end of the day, I was like, fuck. So we started talking, and she was like, I want to do something like this. But she was talking to another artist at the time who I guess wasn't as comfortable with cover-ups as I was, right? So it's like, what do you fucking want to get? And so she had 4 Chinese characters like down the center of her spine. It was bad though, because it was like just off the spine, because she got it like 20 years before, and you know, she's grown up, she's older, et cetera, et cetera. Super scarred, dude. Like when you would like move the skin, you could like tell it was fixed. Like it was so deep, the scarring that was there. If you'd like touch it and move it, the top layer of like you could see the epidermis like fucking shift, but everything underneath was totally fixed. Even if it was fucking super gnarly. So the other artists have been like, well, we'll just put some leaves over top of it, like some fine line floral shit. I was like, we could do that. Like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want a Japanese mum or 2. I'm like, that's fucking rad, dude. Like that's what
what's
we should
a mum?
do.
Like chrysanthemum?
Yeah. Japanese like spider mums, you know?
Right.
They got the long, wispy, you know, like,
right.
Yeah. I was like, that's fucking sick. I set 2 of them up. I like freehanded them on her. And I just like made sure that they were covering blah, blah, blah. Took a picture of it, went back to the back, drew up a stencil, got the outline in, dropped some diluted opaque white on top of the scar tissue. And I did it in a way that, you know, like I'm trying to like break down that shit so it'll remodel and hopefully have a little bit less adhesions. Took really fucking well. Got that done in about an hour. Then I had to rework her ankle. Oh my God. So she's $900 into this fucking ankle piece, which is already a double cover up. So she had like an orange feather and then some other Chinese script, like really, really thin script, you know, like down along, you know, like that part of the fucking ankle, you know, Chinese behind the fucking bone. She was Asian. She was Asian. So that should stay in the show. And I don't know. You know, when people come in, they have like a language that I have no idea what it is on them. And they're like, I need to get this covered up. I'm like, why? And they won't expand on it at all. I always go to like the worst case scenario. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was gnarly. The cover up that was done was like no outline, no liner, like soft mag, like flowers, fruit blossoms, but fucking big. I mean, like take a dollar bill, split it in half, like that size. 3 of them coming up. And then there was a branch that was coming down off of it, but no one even lined it. It was just like literally like hatched in just fucking
Right.
chop shaded into a fucking end, and then they fucking swirled it around the bottom of that ankle bone, and it looked like fucking shit. And she's like, I don't like color. I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I can help you very much with that. You know, like we're gonna have to probably do like a lot of color on top of this to try and change it. And she's like, well, I don't want black. All right, we can do that. We can do that. She's like, I like dark green and brown are my favorite colors. I'm like, fuck. All right. We can do that. And so like
just mixed. I was gonna say I would have just mixed all my colors together to where they were almost black, but just not black.
Yeah, just
like,
tinted.
Here you go. Here's some really dark Payne's gray. It's not black.
It's not black. So like along all these fruit blossoms, and they were all flat, like 2D, you know, like you could see the center circle perfectly and all of the, you know, petals coming off of it, where I mean it was totally flat. Like if you took it in a book and you pressed it flat, and they were like staggered, they didn't move with the body at all, the spacing was off. And then the randomly this person put fucking like 2 white buds like at the backside of that ankle bone by the Achilles tendon that, I mean, of course totally fell out, right? The leaves were black shaded, tip in solid black gradation, but chop shaded to fuck, right? So like it faded and disappeared by the time it actually like met the edges of some of the petals, and they were super duper small. And she's like, I want big leaves. I'm like, okay.
I've actually I was gonna say I've actually been experimenting with, instead of making my leaves green, making them brown. I just drew a shit ton of flash yesterday with brown leaves instead of green.
That's fucking. I'll have to send you some of the stuff I did today. I've been working on the same thing, right? I had some blackberries, but desiccated dead blackberries with some dead leaves, right? Heading to fall. A lot of fun with the textures, which is, I mean, it's fucking stupid, right? What do? You just stipple edge off that, right? Bop, 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 bop. Just throw a fucking gray tone over top of it. It's done. It's not hard, but I love the brown leaves. I like the dead leaves, dead petals. I like, maybe it's just after the summer because it was so fucked up. Like I want everything dead. Making sure I don't get conscripted. Yeah, so like we ended up doing it. Alfredo at does he listen to our show? Probably not. Alfredo at Northwest Pigments. Super nice dude.
I would assume he does.
All right, Alfredo. Well, you fucking rock, dude. You got a dark green. He has this dark olive. I forget what the fucking actual name of the color is. It's fucking sweet. It's olive black mix. Like it's nothing special, right?
Right.
I took an olive tone and I put it on her skin that looked like it was nearly black. She's like, that's perfect. So I fucking laid
Alfredo
it in.
Alfredo actually has quite a few colors that are like really neat muted colors.
Yeah, dude. His smoke color, that purplish gray, like darker like that is one of my favorite fucking colors that he makes. I love it. It looks, when you put it in, it's dark, it's aggressive, but it heals out like super fucking light. Love it, dude. His dusty pink, right? Dusty rose color, which is like that muted. Right. Fucking love that. What, he has a light blue one too. It's like a blue gray, like a cerulean cornflower blue type thing. That thing's fucking awesome, dude. I like Alfredo.
I don't know, like a few weeks ago, and I was like, hey, what are the prices on all these eggs? And then we were just bullshitting back and forth, but it was specifically just like the strange in between colors that he was. And Alfredo hand mixes all of his shit himself.
Yeah, I like Alfredo. Yeah, he's a good dude.
He puts a lot of work in on that shit.
Yeah, the blood color that he has, I mean, right out of the bottle, straight to tint, like is hands down one of the best fucking colors I use. I love it. It's so good. It's just a deep red. It's deeper than a burgundy. Right. It's muted. It's fucking great. Every time I show it to someone, I'm like, look, and they're like, ooh, that looks like blood. And I'm like, yeah. I could take a candy apple red and dump a bunch of black into this and make the same fucking thing, but this is what you want. They're like, oh yeah, that looks like gore. I'm like, yeah, it looks like gore, because evidently I'm doing horror stuff now. That's the fall. I'm going into horror.
Did I say horror?
I've been
Or horror?
hoping. I always get kind of like let down or burnt a little bit during October because like I want to do nothing but Halloween tattoos
Yeah.
and then never get asked for them.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dude.
we're just like, all you do all year round is Halloween, so like they just ignore it. I guess the one time a year it fucking matters.
I want a jolly green giant with a daffodil in his hand. No.
And it's essentially what it feels like.
Yeah.
I always get stuck doing just like cute, weird shit
Yeah.
during October instead of like dark, spooky shit.
That cabin that you had just posted up with the stipple shading, dude, that stippling was beautiful. Which I don't know if I sent you a text about that or not. That was really nice, dude. I really enjoyed that. That was like a Baba Yaga cabin. That's what I thought right in my head. You know?
Oh, I don't know. He said he wanted a treehouse. I was like, all right, I'll do what I can, I guess.
The fucking curves on that were fun. And I think it's like it really goes to remember how I've been saying I don't probably for fucking years now. I told you like your artwork fills me with joy.
Yeah, it always makes me think of that show with that one chick that's like, if it doesn't give you joy, throw it away.
Marie Kondo. Yeah, you Marie Kondo the fuck out of tattoos, but it's awesome. Accessible living with Brian Matthew. Tattoo edition.
Throw it all away.
Oh, it was cool because it's like it's a really cool branch between that like really illustrative tattoo style that you like naturally just like peel off your asshole, and I have no idea how you fucking do it. And then like that Saturday Evening Post, Rockwellian type of like blend of stuff. It's really fucking cool, dude. And the stipple shading on that was badass. It was really good, dude. And I not to be a complete piece of shit. I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck? I looked at it, dude. I pinch zoomed like a dick. And I was like, man, that's really good. Like you did a really good job on that. That looked like you had fun. There was spirit and soul inside of it,
Honestly, I was just we had the girl gang or no, the mountain bike festival fucking thing to get to, and there was some other shit, etc. And like my thought going into the tattoo was like, fuck, how do I do this faster?
That's fucking cool. Give me 1 second. What's up?
So I was like,
yeah, I love you. Yeah.
My thought process on it is like, okay, smooth is fast and fast is good. Let's just fucking hit this shit one strike at a time.
Dude, it was so, what I loved is, so normally when you see people do stipple shading, what you see is they're doing repetitive hand motions. So they end up with an even space stipple all the way along from the base start line all the way out, in like a lessening degree. And yours was randomized. And it made me, I don't want to say I fell in love with the technique, but I kind of want to. Like, it made me feel so good because you actually, like, you took the time to change your hand positioning and your rate of speed that you were going, and it looked so good. So like 5 years down the road, we know when this stuff is just going to fucking blow out and bleed out and all that shit. It is going to look so textured and so fucking good. I was like, that's how you do it, boys.
The difference there is if you take subgesture classes and things like that, and they start talking about cross hatching and line work, etc., they say to make sure that those things always follow the shape that you're working on. So like when you go in and identify certain shapes in there, you'll see that like everything's just following the shape instead of following the whole image. So I break it into little bits and pieces and just go with the shape that I'm working on.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome, dude. It worked really well. And it was cool because like one of the things I guess I didn't know. Hang on a second. Shot incoming. Brian's gonna get drunk again on this fucking recording. It's great. I love it. Cheers. Did you see the title of our last episode?
I did not.
Because I was fucking drunk at the end of that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I love you. Thank you, baby. I said we talk a bunch of stuff, and Ryan gets really drunk at the end. I listened to like the last 5 minutes because I couldn't even edit all of it. I was just like, this is just turned into a train wreck. I'm just gonna let it fly. I listened to last 5 minutes. I was like, that's a fucking Brian. I'm just fucking not. And you like your response was, I have no idea what's going on right now, and that's how the show ended. And I was like, perfect. Oh, anyways, so some of the things that dude, I had somebody come in, and evidently I am in some type of Websy article bullshit of the top 10 watercolor artists globally. I know. I fucking know. I have no idea where this came from, but I had this young lady come in. She's like, I found you on this, whatever website it was. And she's like, you're one of the best and you're in my region. And I'm like, what? Really?
Where you just like prove it.
Yeah, dude, she showed me the fucking article and I had like 3 or 4 of my watercolor pieces. And I'm like, no fucking way. Like, that's stupid. I've been doing watercolor forever. And I have like, I would like to claim in my own egocentric way that I came up with a few techniques that people stole because I just fucking pushed it out there years ago about how to do it, right? You never dilute your color. Never.
Right.
You don't. You do a solid color tattoo and you just tint up or tint down, whatever you're doing, right? It's simple. That's how you make a good watercolor. I did that years ago, 12 years ago, something like that, when I started doing it. And this person's like, yeah, you're one of the best. I was like, what? No. No fucking way. Anyways, I don't even remember where I was going with that stuff. I thought it was funny. I'm just going to shift off the initial thing because I forget what we were talking about. But shots came in and fucked up my brain. What do you think about that? Dude, there's no fucking way I'm one of like the top 10 people in the world with watercolor. There's no fucking way.
It might depend on criteria. I mean, like there's some shit that people label as watercolor that's absolutely not watercolor.
Oh, totally. Totally.
So in a lot of those instances, it's like, yeah, sure, let's write those people out. Mm-hmm. Okay. So like we'd have to like obviously look at whatever pictures that they're using and then go by whatever criteria that it is that whoever judged it is judging off of.
Yeah.
And somebody seems to think so why the fuck not, right?
I had a halfback that I did that was a whale, a halfback whale with daffodils. And dude, it was a big fucking, and that's the only reason why I think I made that list is I had like the biggest watercolor piece, like hands down, because nice. There's good tattoos and there's big tattoos, and everyone's like, oh, that's so big, it's got to be good. And it's like, no, it doesn't mean that it's good.
That was when the first Deadpool movie was coming out, I did a Deadpool color portrait, and that ended up on the internet on one of those similar lists. It's like best realism artists in the world. So it was like Nico Hurtado, all these dudes, like just picture whoever it is that you can picture with that. And then somehow my name was on the list in that picture of Deadpool. And I was like, oh, you guys just fucked up.
It is kind of neat though, right? Because like, I don't know, in my mind, and I won't speak for you, but this is kind of like a question, right? Like I know that I can be good at some things sometimes. It's never 100%, right? Like Nico, I think he's like a 90% dude on realism. 90% of the time, that dude fucking nails it, right? Like he's really good at that subject matter, His paintings, dude, he's a really good painter. Like he's good at what he does, But to be like tossed up on that, to be tossed up on that fucking list, I know there's like what's that? You're a fucking you don't have faith in yourself. You know what I mean? There's like imposter syndrome. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh, I have faith in myself. I just fucking hate tattooing realism. Like that's. You can ask for it. I'll do the damn tattoo, but I won't like doing it.
Is it like Gogwe going back and trying to do that fucking Art Nouveau shit? He's like, I don't do faces
like, it's
anymore.
So weird. Like it's the same thing with my paintings. Like I know how to paint realism, but I don't enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Which just baffles the fuck out of everybody when I explain it to them. But I just don't like it. It takes so much fucking time and effort and energy.
Yeah.
And like, it's cool to be able to do it every once in a while and be like, yes, I did it. You can see that I did it. Stop asking me to do it. Yeah. And then, you know, I want to go back to drawing skulls and spiders and dragons. You know, like, that shit's cool.
Yeah. That's super funny. I remember what was the names of the artwork that you gave out to, like, for sale? It's just like, what was like the planter, the elephant planter, which is a really great painting, dude. Like, it was a really good painting, but I forget like what your name was on it. It was just like, oh, it's Brian.
Oh, it was the weight of the world. Just give some bizarre ulterior depth to this painting that's absolutely meaningless.
Yeah. It's like, where'd you find that fucking planter? You're like, it's in my shitter.
Yeah. No. So I was just at the gallery. They did a pop art gallery exhibit with a bunch of poppy whatever kids. You know, they make new age pop art.
Yeah.
And some of it was pretty cool. But I ran into this lady. She's standing there. She's like, hey, that painting, you're the guy that did the painting. And I was like, well, I did one. And she was like, the elephant one, you know, the really great realism one. I was like, yeah, that's mine. And she's like, yeah, I saw that elephant, like the real elephant. I was walking through Walmart or something and saw it sitting on a shelf. I was like, yeah, that's why I did the painting, because it's funny and fucking dumb. I was like, anybody can buy that actual elephant just anywhere for like $5.
Yeah. Way to the
or
world.
you can pay me, you know, $1,800 for a painting of
That's
that.
so fucking funny, because it speaks on consumerism, right? Like, it's just like,
I don't know.
I need you to come up with the fucking names and I'll sell it. I will. I'll go right next to Mr. Jim and I'll be like, listen, Jim, I got this. I'll just be like, listen, this guy's a hermit. He only flosses his teeth every 2 months. His toenails are real long. He was struck by lightning twice. This is how he sees the world. He finds things from Walmart. People are like, oh my God, strokey beard, you know, brushing the hair. Ugh. How many berets did you see that night?
I think only one, surprisingly.
Oh, nice. Only one student. Fuck.
But that was like the one that I did with the skull inside of the cardboard coffin.
Yeah.
Like, that's my, like, the number one everybody loves the most, you know?
Yeah.
But even that, it was just some cheap ass Halloween decoration I had laying around. And then I had to make a coffin. So I just duct taped some cardboard together really quick. I was like, I don't fucking know. It looks like a coffin. You know, so I just threw some shit in a ragged ass cardboard box that I taped together and then painted it. You know, like, there wasn't really a big premise behind it. It was just like, I got paint sitting here and I have this coffin shaped thing. So I guess we'll just make it look like a box holding shit because it came in a box.
Yeah. To tattooers, I'm like, I do a podcast with this dude who's a really good artist. They're like, yeah. I'm like, now here, check this out. And I'll show them that. And they wet themselves every time. And I'm like, dude, it's not that hard what he did. He just did it really, really well. They're like, no, you have no idea. I'm like, all right. Thank you for fucking mansplaining this to me. I'll let you talk to him and let you explain exactly what was going on in his fucking head with this shit. It was pretty months.
Tell me how hard it was for me to do it.
Yeah. You tell Brian how hard it was. We'll let you build his fucking mythos, you know? You can be like the fucking Iliad and the Odyssey by the time you fucking retire. This is great.
Right.
No. Golly.
Like, people that have actually, like, been able to see me painting know that it's just hours of me going, why the fuck am I doing this stupid shit? You know, like, just driving myself crazy.
Oh, the one stuff that you do that I always freak out over is when you do monochrome, blacks and grays paintings. That is Dude, that's fucking really hard to do. That's really hard to do. There's no, you can't mask it. You can't just be like, right. Like you can't do that with that. Monochrome's fucking hard.
I like that you say that because like I have a shit ton of these just black and white paintings sitting here, and Cassie's like, "Are you even done with those? Like, aren't you putting color in them?"
No, that's the test, right? If you have two aspects of a medium, that's it. All you have is light and dark, right? You have reflection and absorption. That's it. And you try to do something that is acceptable or can reference back to something that's realistic. That is the most basic fucking test of you, in my opinion, as an artist, right? If you can pull that off, that's fucked. That's hard. I've tried doing monochrome like acrylic paintings. And I know acrylic's just stupid to try and do it with anyways. I was like, man, this is really hard. I don't have the patience for this shit. And you'll come out and you'll do something. You're like, yeah, it's fine. Check out my sketch, by the way. Fuck off.
Some crap.
Those ones, dude, I've seen like two, I think like two that you posted or something in like the past bit. I was like, those are really good. So from fanboy on the science side to you as an artist. Off clap.
Huzzah.
Huzzah! Oh shit. Have I shared my my image for our, well, I don't think either of us have traded our line work for the competition with each other, have you?
Why would we trade line work?
Oh, we're just gonna do it straight up, just finished product, done.
You lost me at trade line work.
No, it's just like, oh, I want to show you what I think I'm doing. You know?
Oh, well then, yeah, send me a picture. Like I was picturing us like for some reason we have to switch now and tattoo each other's design. It's like,
dude,
this is getting weird.
No, wait, okay, so this one we should do that. Next one we should do the other. That'd actually be kind of fun.
Force each other to draw or tattoo what each other drew.
Yeah, that'd actually be kind of fun.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Because like we've already been through the basic rote process where like we approached the same fucking design the same way, and we ended up at the. Brian and I got a tattoo that walked into Scarlet Vale 3 years ago or some shit. Something like that. We're sitting down. We both did the tattoo. There was no check-in. There was no nothing. We both did it. At the time the tattoo was finished, we finished it exactly the same time. And it was the same fucking tattoo. And then we checked it. We was the same grouping, same colors, same fucking this, same that. Everything was the exact same. And it was like kismet. It fucking actually freaked me out a little bit. Yeah, it was. It was like, well, I guess you know how to tattoo. That's like the most basic thing. Is like, well, all right. I'll qualify you through my experience. I'm having a juice and iced water, dude, because I'm so tired today. I'm so tired. I'm a little bit drunk too, but I'm so tired. That double cover up fucking killed me last night. Oh, it did.
I don't think Cassie got home till like 1 o'clock in the morning last night. She was there picking up everything after the mountain bike festival.
I still, because like you talk some shit about it on one of the shows. You're like, that's so fucking stupid, and then you went and did it, and I'm like,
I just the idea that people are like, so they're gonna go out mountain biking, but they want to get tattooed in the middle of an event for mountain biking.
Arkansas has got kind of like some lax legislation.
Cassie and Brooke were all about it. So Cassie and Brooke were just like, oh, we got to go do it. It's going to be so much fun and all this and that and the other. I was like, it's going to be tattooing outside in a tent.
Yeah.
With a bunch of mountain bikers getting shit faced and ruining their tattoos.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Do they do any work out there too? They busy?
Oh yeah. Brooke was busy pretty much the whole time. It was fucking nuts. Like me and Cassie went out there before everything actually got started, and we're just finishing up some odds and ends on the booth, right? And as we're just standing there trying to adjust some shit in the booth, there's like 30 fucking people that just crowded the front of the tent. And they were just like, "Oh, we all want tattoos, blah blah blah." Like everybody's talking all at once and shit.
Oh,
And we were
my
just like,
gosh.
"Guys, it's not even open yet."
Poor
You know,
Brooke.
like,
She got a fucking firsthand experience in a real tattoo environment. She did. Yeah. Hopefully she's not ready to fucking,
Well, it's funny because this is like the first time she's ever done shit like this. So
Yeah.
it's like, way to throw you to the wolves there.
I think everyone inside the industry, if you've been tattooing longer than maybe 10 years, you have a time where if you came up and you had to work through, there's always all those different shops, right? You have the street shop, the flash shop, like mid-end shop, high-end shop, custom art shop, and fucking whatever, right? Yeah, when you like got in there, you came in one day and you looked at the front door and there was 100 people standing outside.
Right.
And you go, fuck. And it was just like, how are you going to deal with this? It's such a unique experience, man. Like that part of tattooing, I think, is slowly fading away. It's not there
Give
anymore.
or take.
Well, you get a Friday the 13th,
it used to
you can
be
still do it and shit, but
well, like that Friday the 13th thing used to be really cool because it wasn't every fucking Friday the 13th.
No.
It'd be like one Friday the 13th out of the year.
Yeah.
It would happen. And then when that shit happened, there was like 300 people at the door. Everybody was just stoked.
not okay. Yeah.
Right. So luckily that's become boring now because everybody does it every single Friday the 13th and you got every shop in town fucking doing it. So like you might have 20 people at your shop.
It's not
it
the
doesn't
same.
make any money. It doesn't do anything.
No. It's a good gift. Like we used to do it so we would give back to the people who frequented the shop. It wasn't just a trend, like whatever. It was a promo night, basically. You're not going to make any money. You'll break even, maybe, but you're going to work hard.
Right.
And now it is. It actually has kind of become a bit passe, doesn't it? It's just like you do Friday the 13th. Oh, you charge $13. Ha! We charge 31. It's like, what the
right?
Fuck? Who gives a fuck? I have made some money on those events too, but I'm like us, like we're seasoned. Okay, the most tattoos, and I've held a record for a little while, so I'm willing to throw this on the fucking line on this one. The most tattoos you've ever done in a single day.
It'd have to be like 40 to 50. It was a fucking 2011 maybe. We did a cancer ribbon benefit event thing.
Oh,
and we actually had like 3,000 people come to the shop.
Oh yeah, that's a marathon. Fuck yeah, bro.
It's insane. Yeah. So we had the tattoo artists, and then we had a team of people that were setting up and breaking down trays. So the tattoo artists barely had time to like go from one tattoo to the next tattoo. A group of people put stencils on everybody. A group of people broke down trays and set up trays, and then the tattoo artist just had to sit there and fucking tattoo. Head down, tattoo.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. So my record right now is in an 8-hour period. 8 hours. I did setup, breakdown, and tattoo placement with stencil by myself. I did 39 tattoos.
It's rough.
Wait. And not all of them were Friday the 13th size tattoos. I did 12 hand size tattoos.
What's that?
Fucking owner shit. Yeah. I would love to hear if anyone who listened to this show could beat that, because like literally that is nearly fucking impossible. There's no fucking way anymore.
Fucking what's his name? Holds the record for like the most tattoos done in a day or some shit.
Yeah.
In Guinness.
Yeah.
But it's like 300 fucking tattoos or something psychotic, ridiculous, but they're all like 1 millimeter.
One
fucking,
mil. They're
they're
4-line
just
tattoos.
tiny little smiley face or something.
5-line tattoos. It's fucking super simple. Yeah, no, dude, I was doing like whole chest panels, shoulder caps, fucking 1/4 forearms and stuff. Fucking mobbing the whole thing. My machine was set to 13 coil, and I was just gone. I was an obsessed
I was gonna
man.
say these are numbers that came before
For
the convenience
rotaries.
of rotary.
There is no, dude, if I try to do this with the rotary, there's no fucking way. I could do like 8, No way. No fucking way. I'd slap a 9 round on, and I crank that motherfucker up to 13 volts and just say pray. And then people be like, what? And I would lean on them. Arm on an armrest, and I would put all of my body weight onto one elbow at their elbow crook and just fucking go. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right, we're done. Go. And I'd be fucking breaking down. Hi, what's your name? How are you doing? Oh, that's so fantastic. Why are you here today? How long have you been waiting? That's fantastic. Or I'm setting up again. Pop, pop, pop. And I'd have all my shit laid out in a row. Be like bags, caps, bands, fucking grommets, right? Dental bibs. Pop, 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 pop. Fucking Vaseline, slap down 2 caps, fucking rinsed, of course, because they're in my tumbler. Ink in, arm down, fucking stencil. All right, hi, I love you so much. Let's go. And just fucking get it done. All right, well, have a nice day. Next! And just fucking go.
Yeah, I was thinking back to that the cancer ribbon tattoo marathon thing, and
Horrible.
like at the time, there's a lot of shit going on that you're not thinking about because you're just thinking about tattooing these people, right? But
dude, yeah.
There was also like 2 people whose sole job was to make sure that autoclave didn't explode and kill everyone.
Oh god.
So like, the autoclave was running the entire day,
entire
sterilizing constantly.
You got
like just thinking about that scenario is like, oh wow.
That's fucking wild. The dude who's in full PPE with the fucking face mask just scrubbing fucking 3 and 5-liner tubes. It's like, go Jimmy, we're gonna be here for a while. It's just like, oh my god. If you ever put a needle into a fucking steel tube and you get that fucking bucket of ink that falls out on stuff and you've got to break down everything, re-sterilize and fucking set up again. Oh my god. Could you imagine that during a Friday the 13th? Dude, oh my god. I've done that, like, I think it was like 3 times in my career. I'm taking a liner tube, I'm like talking to somebody, I'm like, hi, yeah, I'm gonna do your tattoo. And you just like push that needle through the fucking tip and it goes, and there's like a shit of ink that comes out. And you just pause and you look at them, you lock eyes, and you both know just what happened. And it's not okay. Yeah, 2 choices. 1, fuck it, it's okay. It's probably sterile ink anyways. Or 2, oh my god, that's disgusting. I need to go kill someone right now. I always chose the latter. I know 2 people. If they listen to this show, they're going to know what I'm talking about. That didn't. I'm like, oh my god. You're like looking across the shop and somebody's setting up to talk, and they fucking feed that needle through that tube tip, and then that fucking bung falls out. It's just all like black and brown and yellow and green and fucking purple, and that's someone else's disease, And they're like, it's fine.
That's what the autoclave's for. It got hot.
It got hot. It's fine. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't handle that, actually. That's super funny. I remember this one guy, he was such a piece of shit. He did it. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm tattooing. And I'm like, but maybe you should think about setting up again. And he's like, no. Oh my god. Well,
just a bunch of skeezy pirates.
Oh, dude, totally. That's the entire life.
When I think back, if I think back to the older tattoo artists that I knew before we became old tattoo artists, everybody that I think of is essentially just a pirate. Just foul mouthed, drunk ass heathens doing whatever the fuck they wanted.
Oh my God.
Like it was a band of merry pirates.
You ever heard
then,
Tuttle talk? Did you ever hear Tuttle talk?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Whoa. So if we were to think about what's PC now, Lyle Tuttle, I met him like 2013 or 14, and we was doing the tattoos. I think it was like right before he fucking passed away. When he was just signing his name, and it looked like, oh my God, like the dude had Parkinson's, man. It wasn't good. He was like $120, and he just like fucking spell Lyle on your arm, so you had that shit. The stuff he
You have
said,
this weird thing where you always think that people died way sooner than they died.
oh,
Like Lyle Tuttle didn't die until like 3 years ago.
oh, he didn't. No, he looked like death when I seen him. Wait,
He had
Oh my God.
that cool white hair,
yeah, dude.
right?
And he
Hanging
was
out,
sitting
still
there-
making the hot chick sitting on his lap while he's telling stories.
Oh my God, dude, that was so fucked up. Like I honestly was like really uncomfortable meeting him. I'm like, this guy's a tattoo god. Like he's the dude that like this is America, you know? And he just hang on. Getting me all bothered. And this is a time where we're gonna have a talk from our sponsors. Oh my God, I'm so drunk. So, a few things that have actually come up this week. We've had some questions.
Oh, good.
And I always like to end on these things because I think it's fun, especially getting like Dr. Brian shit, you know? Do you still got your placard, bro?
Yeah, it's on my my toolbox at the tattoo shop. So when people walk in, they can see it.
Not to sound too weird, but someone was just like knocking on my fucking garage door.
I was literally just sitting here thinking, I bet he's got some meth head scratching at the door.
Yep. Welcome to Portland. Dude, placard in hand, things are moving forward. I don't think I can actually send you this video clip or not, but I've had a question from Jesse, and he has sent a video of him tattooing, and he said, like, what am I doing wrong? Let me see if I can actually like. Let me see if I can put this up here so you can see. Anyways, just sent a tattoo that he was doing, and he's scrub shade, literally less than a second, wipes really quick, scrub, wipe, scrub, wipe. The dude was spending twice as long wiping and cleaning off the tattoo rather than actually doing the work. Yeah, that's fun. So, Dr. Brian, how long should you keep a needle on skin when you're working?
That's entirely circumstantial.
And what is that based off of? How should we know when we've run a long enough line or we've shaded enough?
Essentially, when you naturally run out of ink.
That's right.
You know, like imagine like you have an inkwell, right? And when you go to put it to skin, some of the ink's coming out while you're working, right? When you pick your inkwell up, you lost a large percentage of the ink because it's now just sitting there in a big puddle on the skin, right? So if you're wiping that off and going back to the tattoo, and like, let's say you didn't dip,
Yeah.
then you're working with even less ink. So the next time you pick your hand up and wipe that off, you're wiping off more ink than you're actually tattooing into the skin.
It's fucking funny, right? Yeah.
Like it doesn't, it's counterproductive to just continue to wipe shit off.
And you take that ink ball that you got and you scrub that motherfucker in as long as you can until you're sure that you're starting to get a
Right.
decreased fucking return on whatever this ink investment is. Simple, right? I don't understand that. Have you seen that before where people like do like a quarter of an inch of a line and wipe? And a quarter of
Oh
an inch
yeah,
of
I
a
see
line
it all
and
the
wipe.
time on Instagram.
Ugh.
I don't understand the premise, and essentially it reads as I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out.
Mm. I want to watch every second of what I'm doing. This can't be dirty, which I've never understood that. Like 90% of what we do when we're doing filling, color, lining, shading, etc., blends, we don't know what's there. We have a photographic image in our brain that lets us know why we're doing what we're doing. Right?
Right.
When you start running a line and there's a bead in front of it, you actually don't know where that line is. You're guessing the whole way. Stencil is an approximation for what you should do. It's not the same. You're not doing rote application here. You're getting it as close to the stencil as you can when you put on a stencil. Same with the shading, same with the colors, same with the blending, same with everything, right? Like everything has to be close. It's not 2D. It's not fucking Procreate.
I would slightly disagree with that, but just because I'm creatively anal retentive about certain aspects of tattooing. So like if I miss my line, I'll have a heart attack.
But I mean, when you're running your lines, you memorize where the line should be before you get there.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that's the idea of like you've drawn it 10 times before you're going to tattoo it anyway. That image is brained into, it's burnt into your brain.
Yeah.
So like if you can't just hit your line, like there's an issue there. Either you're stealing somebody else's artwork or you have no idea what you're doing.
Exactly.
But it really shouldn't be hard to, like if you got your needle to the skin, then you should be able to follow the rest of that line perfectly fine.
One of the other things I noticed with Jesse's video is that his needle, and I'm holding this up in front of the video, so if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see this, but if you're not, then you won't. Dude, his fucking machine was set like this. I'm holding up a cigarette. It's roughly about like 30 degrees off the skin. Super shallow.
We'd call that like 25.
Yeah, super shallow. He's basically like he's skipping along the top of the surface of the skin, right? It's not.
Yeah, right.
It's not making contact.
My machine should be right here.
The grouping that you're going to use with the liner versus the shader is going to be different. Liners, the smaller that they get, the steeper that the angle should be, and the more yardage you should see coming out of the needle tip. That's fine. I'm so drunk. This is fun. When you use, Jesus Christ, man. I know. Sorry.
I'm down, Frank.
We're using a mag or a shader needle. Here you do the opposite, right? The larger that the grouping gets, the more you're going to have to start tipping it back to be able to get penetration of the skin. Because if it's really big, if you're using a 23 or above and you have it at 90 degrees, like perpendicular to the fucking skin, it's going to bounce. It's never going to get that fucking, it's never going to enter the skin. It's going to be topical. You got to tip that shit back. So when you're pushing the skin, you're actually be forcing the skin to kind of like wave up and shove back against it as it's hitting into it, right? You got a 4 mag, 4 flat. You can have that motherfucker damn near 90 and it'll run fine. The more needles, the deeper that fucking angle, more shallow off the skin, in my opinion. If I'm using a 35, that motherfucker is damn near parallel. My throw is like 5 mil, like it's fucked, right? I'm just like scrubbing it in the skin. I'm treating it like shit. Look at the fuck. Cassie's here. What's up, Cassie?
I don't even know what that is. I think it's just a TV really loud.
Oh, golly. Hang on. We actually have a couple questions came on the Better Tattooing YouTube channel. And one of them that we got actually was pretty good, dude. It was pretty good. And I wanted to ask you this. I already wrote a response, but I wanted to know what you had thought in response to this.
Just send them to boot camp and call it a day.
This one's kind of fun. So it's chemistry based, and I figured this may actually pique your interest. Okay, for years I've made all my white using air quote national white pigment. I'm trying to figure out the composition of what national white pigment is. I've been blending some food grade TiO2 and zinc oxide in various ratios, trying to arrive at something that's close to National's formula. So far, without what I would consider a complete success. My liquid mix that's either TV or Cassie. It's hilarious. My liquid mix isn't going in the same vibrance that I want. Is there any way that you could tell me what a good mix between TiO2 and other ingredients would be to achieve the optimal white?
What does he mean by vibrance?
So I think
like, are you saying that your white ink looks gray?
Mm-hmm. I think that that's actually what it comes out as. Yeah. Which I had responded. I said, like, did you using way too much zinc oxide, right? It's thermokinetic, right? So like the more heat it gets, the more it changes color. Like zinc oxide, when we put into the skin, it can look white new, but as soon as the body actually starts to heat it up, it slowly starts turning gray to brown. That's just what happens, right? So the greater amount of zinc oxide that you get, usually the duller your tone is going to be in the future, which is why we had seen like in the early aughts that browning effect happen with a lot of the whites that we had, which is kind of fun, you know?
Plus, like, what's his solution? What's his carrying solution? There's so much shit that can go into it. Like, what are you not explaining? What are you leaving out, buddy? How much vodka did you pour in there?
How you disperse the solution is going to influence how it goes into the skin, right? That's simple.
Okay. Look, just whatever you're doing at home, stop doing it and try this out for a second.
Yeah.
Just go to whatever natural market or just general store you can go to and get a bottle of Dr. Bronner's Castle soap, right? And what you're going to do is make your solution 10% of that Castle soap. Let's call it 70% vodka, and then add some TiO2 to it.
Yep. Shake. Apply.
Right. Shake well, tattoo with it, see what happens.
Yep. That's some
or absolutely don't follow
shit.
this advice.
So,
like,
yeah, no, that's fucking that dude. Like, literally, that was exactly what I had said. I said, like, you just need to like watch out where you're getting your sources from, blah blah blah. And it comes down to like the size dispersion part. Like, food grade TiO2 doesn't mean shit.
Right.
It doesn't. How big are the particles? You know, how long have they been running the tumbler? All this stuff. You can take this and you can, if your dispersion is good, realistically, you should be able to carry enough pigment particles, regardless of their size, to the skin that will be able to make the fucking colors stand out, right? It doesn't matter. And like your dirty carrier fluid mix is like legit genius. I love that. It's so fucking funny. It's just like, no, like you don't need to worry about all this stuff. Like, listen, it needs to be sterile. It needs to have a biocidal agent in it. And it needs to be thin enough that you can put that shit in based on how fucking hard that you're tattooing, which is fucking great. I told him as well, there's a different chemical that's in this product that he doesn't know about. This is something that Dr. John talked about before, which is barium sulfate.
Right.
Tony Whitelis had said, he posted something, I don't know if you've seen it or not, and he's like, oh, me telling my friends to use zinc white oxide, you know, in my paint. And they're like, oh, I don't know any fucking thing about anything. And I wanted to write into him and say, like, well, what about barium sulfate? Have you heard about the Vanta Black stuff?
Yeah.
Vanta Black, the most absorbent black, 99.8% of all light is absorbed by this color. So they made a composite white that reflected as much as Vanta Black. Do you know what it was made out of?
Are you gonna say barium sulfate?
That's it. Yeah, totally, dude. So they took it and they ground it down to such a fine particulate nanodispersion that was actually able to reflect up to nearly 99.5% of all light that's coming into. Because what's white, right? Is just reflecting. It's reflecting all the bands of light that we can possibly see. Plus, right? This is something that I think is like missing in a lot of pigment chemistry now. Is like when we start seeing barium sulfate added into it. Why is it there? It's there because it acts as a reflective agent, makes things look brighter, right? So it adds to that vividity. Is that the right word? I don't know. If we add it to it, it makes things reflect more. So we're seeing more shit bounce off. And this is something that you had said in the previous episode about doing realism. What is realism? We're looking at where light is hitting and how much of it is reflecting off, right?
Right.
The more it's going to reflect off, the more we can create that illusion of height inside of an image. So we're using barium sulfate and you add it to a color, it's not only going to make it look brighter, but it's going to make it look lighter, you know? So I said, hey, check out some Sun Pharmaceuticals and Chemical Company and see if you can find some of the TiO2 barium sulfate white mix, which is fucking stupid. But I think that'd be actually something pretty fun to play around with. If we're making pigments nowadays, the world is coming to an end and we got to make our own shit. How much, and this is a Dr. Brian question actually for me, like how much do you think that like that reflective property would actually be really key in trying to make like a decent color inside the skin? Like how much would you want to, as an artist, how strong would you require that to be to make some of the images that like especially you do when you're tattooing, you know?
So this is like a half and half sort of scenario. Like technically I wouldn't want all my colors to be super vibrant or reflective. Like any matte color, muted color, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't really want them super reflective, right? Like reflection would be for like your absolute brightest greens, lime greens, strong yellows, shit like that, and a lot less for more of your like primary colors and darker tones from there going forward. And realistically, all you're combating is the prismatic effect of your own skin at that point. So when you look at your veins under your skin, right, and we see the color blue, our blood is not fucking blue. You know, like that like thing that all kids believe. They think that their blood's blue until it comes out and it turns red. That's not what's happening. Your blood is red under your skin, but a prismatic effect happens because of your skin, and it actually changes the color that you see. So you're seeing blue because your skin fucked up all the light that was coming through.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you really want to like think about that advantage with tattoo ink at the same time as well as trying to make the light reflect back through the skin. So like only your brightest should have absolutely like reflective property, and then anything following below those shouldn't really be reflective. They should stand at their color in the skin or get darker as, you know, the tattoo heals.
Yeah. That's a really
if that
good
makes
answer,
sense.
Dude. No, that totally, dude. That's really good. I like that. I actually learned something a little bit about that because I was trying to think about like decreasing amounts of that reflectivity, right? Like moving through the skin as it gets to a deeper tone. But like I think that there actually is only a point in time where if you're going to be using that specific substrate where it's going to come in handy. Because like when do you need that maximum reflectability? So I can think of 2 times where it may come in handy. If we have light entering, and maybe it's moving through those pigments, refracting through it, and it's filtering the light at a specific wavelength to bounce off of red or blue and make it look brighter than it really is. That would be great if it were a painting. But if it's a tattoo, you're still going to be getting that filtering effect of like the skin's natural pigment, right? Like where it's absorbing a specific wavelength of fucking light, where it's not going to allow certain stuff through. So it's going to be so specific to the individual and their skin tone that it's almost a hit and miss. Like you're going to need so many different mixes of each individual color based on the individual for it to have the same type of effect that it seems almost ludicrous. Which I mean, probably
right,
is the
and
best way
essentially,
to tattoo.
like that's what we look at when we're looking at tattoo ink anyway. Like if you're shopping around for tattoo ink and shit like that, we have to understand the idea that like this is a market friendly device. It's meant for every type of skin tone, not just crystal clear white skin.
Yeah.
You know, so we're never gonna find like the perfect color that works every single time. It's not possible, you know.
At least as the way stuff is set up now, it would be really neat if we could. But I mean, that'll never fucking happen. Like we know exactly
the
what
prices
the fuck
on
is going
shit
on here.
would be so drastically
Oh
high.
god,
And
it'd be crazy.
everything would just get fucking insane.
Yeah, we could quadruple the fucking cost of pigments easy. Like I can get a 2-ounce bottle now for $35, roughly, with the brand that I use. And I easily, if it was like matched to a specific skin tone or ethnicity or age, it is $200 a bottle.
Right.
It's so when we're applying it, like what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand as an artist the product that we're using, and we make an assumption based on that, what will happen when we put it into skin type X, Y, or Z. And that's where like education and experience comes in, right? Like it's not just like this is going to work perfect on everyone regardless of their skin tone. No. If there are these products that are inside of it that are going to increase luminosity or vibrancy, are they going to work in someone who has super dark skin or medium tone skin, or maybe they absorb, more of a red tone versus a fucking violet tone, or anywhere in between? The experience inside of tattooing, I think, like really plays a lot towards that, right? It's like understanding, even empathetically, like maybe you haven't plotted all this shit out, but where you sit down, you look at someone's skin, you're like, I know that this fucking mint green is not going to work in this person's skin because, and we could actually extrapolate off that, they absorb this wavelength of light more because their ancestry is like this, because this. I know I can't use that color because it's going to look like shit. Then what do you use instead?
You just take that same color and add white.
Because what is white? I think of this as a big thing that maybe a lot of tattooers don't think about. Like when they're thinking about colors, they look at a color and they think of like a fucking crayon, right? Which is stupid. We're not putting something on top of something that you can look at. We're putting something in something that you have to look at through a filter. And that's way different. You can't think about this like as, you can't conflate it with drawing or painting or fucking sketching or using your iPad. It's not the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if you were to think about the amount of things that's going to affect how that color looks, like from the starting point, like a macrophage encapsulates that tattoo ink. So now we have to see the light being refracted through this fucking microorganism, right?
Yep.
Outside of that, there's a whole atmosphere of shit going on, right?
Yep.
And that's just one layer of shit. Then we have another layer of shit above that. And there's 5 other layers of shit above that. You know, like there's a lot of shit going on that light just has to travel through. You know, like it doesn't make a huge impact on us when we just look at our fucking arm. But there's a whole fucking universe of shit happening between you and the tattoo ink that's in the skin. It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy, man. I think that's the biggest thing is like maybe as tattooers we're taught to look at things in more of a topical manner. Like we look at skin like paper or canvas, especially the younger folk that are in the industry right now. And they don't understand that this is not, it doesn't equate. Like a canvas and a human are not, they're not the same fucking thing, right? And everyone's fucking different. When you're good at what you do, you can understand those small variances. And I think that's like maybe the thing that comes biggest with experience is like finding and understanding and identifying those the minutia of the skin, age, lifestyle, genetics, all these other things that can like come into play when you're thinking about trying to apply a tattoo, where you can identify something, you can go, okay, I know that this won't fucking work, so I'll do X. But if you've only been tattooing a year, it's just,
Right.
there's no fucking way you've had that. Like, dude, we've been tattooing 20 years. Like, there's no fucking way the amount of like we did the math, and I was thinking about how many people I've shaved in 20 years. Yeah, that's fucking frightening. How many fucking legs, arms, armpits, fucking geishas, goddamn groinal areas, goddamn, chests, necks, fucking everything I've shaved in 20 years is absurd. Like, Supercuts can suck my fucking taint. Like, they have nothing on me. I am not only a professional tattooer, but also a professional hair remover. So, like, thinking about that, like when you're identifying a skin tone, you're going to the prep to even like lay your stencil. There's so much that goes into that. That's all that positive feedback where you're being presented with so much information. And you're like thinking about this, like when I'm getting ready to do this tattoo, I am looking at this person as an individual that should have an influence on how I'm going to approach it with my fucking colors or grays or whatever, right? Ugh. Sorry, I got fucking really prophetic there. Hail Bob. It bothers me.
Nice.
It bothers me. I've had people saying like, well, I've been tattooing for 3 years and I know what to do. Like, well,
You have a good idea.
An idea.
But 3 years from now, you're going to be sitting there going, wow, I was such a fucking idiot. I had no idea what I was doing.
Because that's it. That's it. Like the longer that
That's
you're
like,
ever in something.
Like, let's say you're about to get into a tattoo and you can really easily do this tattoo in one session. It'll probably be 4 or 5 hours, right? You're going to do a little bit of black work. And then what you're going to start doing from that point is mixing your inks with your blacks and tattooing it and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when that heals, it'll look okay, but it won't look as rich as it could if you did all of your black and gray shading for that tattoo in one session, let it heal, and then went back over top of it with color, right? Like, these things are just very slightly different, but make huge impacts in the way that the tattoo looks further on down the road. Like every small little thing is a huge impact, because once again, when we're thinking about what a tattoo is, we're picturing this epic universe of shit going on inside this little 4x4 inch of skin. Like it's really crazy what all that, like, if we just make some intelligent decisions, we can control a lot of what's going to happen as far as this tattoo goes.
Yep.
There's a lot of it that's still out of our control, but there's a lot that we can control through experience.
1090. And it literally does come down to that, right? Like the positive and beneficial choices you're going to make are going to be focused on experience, because you've made mistakes before and fuck, I shouldn't do that. Like that. I think that's one of the hardest things about tattooing that I think people don't. And I'd love to have your take on this as well, where people aren't trained for, is that you are going to fuck up way more than you're going to succeed. And you got to charge your client for that.
Right. That's the number one thing I tell everybody that's pretty much ever worked for me, or, even with me, is you're just going to fuck it up. Who cares? Try your best, fuck it up, learn from it.
Move on.
People will stare at you like you're fucking crazy, but that's the reality of it. Like, it's just a tattoo. It's a mistake that you're prepared to make. And you're just going to keep repeating this process until
such
the end of fucking days.
Damn good fucking thing. That's a swag bit. We're fucking up. We're okay with it. Dude, that's tattooing to a fucking T. Every tattoo that you do, you have to know you could do it better if you did it again.
Right. That's all it is. You're just doing something to literally learn from it to do it again.
Yep.
Like over and over and over, 1,000 fucking times in a row. That's tattooing. That's why it takes so fucking long to get anywhere in tattooing.
Yeah.
Right? Because even though you think you have a great idea as to what you're doing, you have no idea.
No
what the fuck you're
idea.
doing.
We've been doing this 20 years. And like the longer that I've been doing it, the more I know I don't know. Literally every day. And it took me fucking 15 years until I got like, I have no clue what I'm doing, where I could admit that and be like, I don't know. Because everyone is so different and every lifestyle is different. Every skin is different. Their aftercare is different and their fucking healing is different and their age is different. There's so many variables going into this. It's crisis management. Like every fucking tattoo, every tattoo.
So that's like, no matter what, no matter who your favorite tattoo artist is, none of that shit. Go to their Instagram pot, scroll all the way down to the bottom and see the first fucking picture they posted. And then see the newest picture they fucking posted. It doesn't give a fuck who that person was. That first picture is going to suck dick compared to that new picture that they just posted last week. And there's a fucking reason is no matter who they are, they're doing exactly that. They're doing a tattoo. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing. They're learning from that tattoo. They have an idea as to what they think they're doing.
Yep.
But they're constantly learning from their own experience, whether they like it or not.
Yeah. And the best are the ones who learn the quickest. Like you with, and I think I've said this before, a couple shows before. When you were confronted with a problem and something that didn't heal outright or something didn't look right when it came back, you tried something different. And when it worked, you never tested that fucking theorem again. Like that was it. It wasn't like, well, why did this work? No, it fucking worked. Suck a dick. This is it. And you just ran with it.
Even that, if I tattooed somebody and I put some weird colors together and shit went awry or something and, saw it healed, I would literally troubleshoot that shit on my own way.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm just going to stack these fucking colors together and see what happens. And that way, like, I can fuck with it, in my free time and see what's going to work better.
Oh, dude.
Like,
yeah.
There's ways to get around things.
Dude, do you remember how many times you tried to figure out
using self-harm
needle drift, right? Like when you're like trying to figure out angles when you're doing like fine line stuff. How many fucking times? I tattooed myself 5 times on my thighs, trying to figure out like how far down should my needle be in relation to my machine speed to try and figure out how to make a clean line that actually looked well, like a year out. We're like, I'd do a line, but I'd have my fucking tube set so far down, such a narrow angle off the skin that it would blow out like hard left or hard right, depending on where my hand was in relation to the line I was running. I'm like, why is this happening? Like, it looks fine when it's done. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to hit my knee. I fucking just throw some stupid fucking design in there, wait 5 months and look and be like, that's not right. All right, try it again. I'm going to go over the same fucking design. I'm going to try something else. This is like 3 years worth of fucking back work to try and come up with like, oh, this is why what happened. Fuck. I have been tattooing like this for 3 years. Oh my God.
That's like the difference between using like thin tattooing or extra thick tattooing.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have experience with that, you're going to use both tattooings the same way. One's going to heal okay. One's going to heal with very little saturation whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like your thick tattoo ink has to be diluted while you're using it.
Yep.
You can't just use that shit thick as fucking mustard and call it a day. It doesn't work.
Who was it back in the day? It was Stable. Do you remember Stable pigments? I think Soba Workhorse made them. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
It was all vegan, vegetable based and all that stuff. Those things were like fucking tapioca. They were so thick. Remember the first time I used like their deep blue, where I went and I grabbed like I think it was like a 7 mag or something. I was like filling in some water shit. Like ran into the skin. And I lifted up, and fucking nothing had gone into the skin. And I was like, oh,
Right.
okay. And I tried the same hand technique again, ran into the skin, and I came up, and it's just bleeding. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to tattoo. Crisis, panic, hands in the air. I'm fucking losing my fucking mind. I'm looking at the person going, don't worry, this is fine. But it was just like everything was bad. And then you start thinking, like, well, why? And that's so hard to train. I think it's just like on my side, I know panic led to 90% of my education. Like panic, like unadulterated fucking terror that what I was doing was going to fuck up. And I was thinking about like a surgeon, I'm going into a brain. Let's see what the fuck happens. And you touch something and someone's leg flips up. You're thinking, whoopsie. And you're just like, I can only do that like one more time. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to fuck this person up for life, And you got to adapt. But the funny thing is like with me, especially because I was always testing stuff, I had years, dude, where I would be like trying to figure something out. And it was not good. And I would have a year of bad work. Like it wasn't air quote, it wasn't bad, right? But it wasn't okay. It wasn't good. It was at that borderline between acceptable, right? And maybe you shouldn't be doing this shit. And it was just like hard because it was just like education. I'm like, why am I not figuring this out? And you're trying everything: machine speed, different type of machine, different type of needles, different type of fucking pigment, different hand speed, different hand position, different skin stretch, different fucking client, different age, different this. And you're like, fuck, I have no goddamn fucking clue what I'm doing. And after you fucked up so many goddamn times, you understand what you're doing. And this is one of the things I think that we've been doing with this entire podcast is like, if you're new in this and you think you got it figured out, I'm doing a Bob Dole thumb right now, Bob Dole. Like, dude, like we've already fucking made these mistakes. You don't have to. You don't have to.
It's young tattoo artists are just like stupid ass teenagers where they think that their parents have no idea what they're talking about instead of just realizing that like, oh wait, my mom and dad were 13 at one point in time too.
Yeah.
So like the younger tattoo artists are also like, I'm fucking great at this. You don't know what you're talking about. And you're like, no, trust me. When I was 22, I thought I was fucking great at this too.
Yeah. When I was 3 years in, I thought I was the fucking gift of God. We all did it. You hit year 3 and then you get into realism. And then you ride realism to year, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you start to realize that you don't actually know how to illustrate. And then you go, fuck. And then you start illustrating, but you don't know how to illustrate. So you start sticking to just straight black and gray. And you go through your black and gray and you're like, fuck, I need to get into color. And then you start getting into color and then you forget about all the realism stuff. So you start doing realism again and you go back to realism, but now you're color realism and you're trying to figure out how to do illustrations with color and realism moving forward into this weird neo-trad shit. You know what the fuck's going on? You go, fuck it. I'm just going to go old school. You can all suck my dick. And then you do 2 years in that. And then where we're at right fucking now, where you go, I've learned a lot. I wish no one would ever have to do this themselves again, we all do it. I just wish that we wouldn't have to for our poor client's sake, $250 an hour in some places for someone just to learn.
At what point is getting a tattoo no longer like a personal mental benefit and more just entertaining sport? I'm gonna go get tattooed today and just see who fucks this up.
That's a good one, dude. That's fucking awesome. That might be the end of the show. I really like that. That's fucked up. Actually, like, I know I'm drunk now, but I mean, I'm trying to think back to like how many times I felt insecure when I was doing my work, and it literally wasn't until like, oh my gosh, year fucking 13 or 14 maybe 15, when I was doing stuff and I was like, fuck, I'm just doing a tattoo. And it was so weird. Like this like calm came over me. And then like I felt that calm and I was like, well, this isn't normal. So then I spent a couple of years testing that. Are you sure it's just a tattoo and not a style? Is it just like maybe I'm not using the right pigment or needle, And I'm like testing that. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm literally doing a fucking process. I'm putting ink in skin. It's not being an artist. It's not anything. I'm a tech. I'm like a fucking plumber or a drywaller or an electrician or a framer or a roofer or a fucking mechanic. I'm just doing something to achieve a desired result. And I remember, well, like this year specifically, like I've been doing a bunch of really fucking like disparate things, like stylistically. But it's all come down to like I'm just doing a tattoo. And it was weirdly calm. Kind of, depressing at the same time because I thought that there was supposed to be more. You reach the top of the mountain and you're like, well, this isn't that big,
That's always the thing, right? So I can't remember who the quote was by or the exact wording of the quote, but it was there's two things you should never wish on somebody is A, that they could never achieve their dreams, and B, that they achieve their dreams. Because the moment you achieve them, you get there and you're like, fuck. Was that it? Was it worth all the bullshit? The moment you achieve what you thought you were chasing, it's just kind of soul crushing because there's not a parade at the end of that. You get there, nobody gives a fuck about what you just did.
No, it's like when you finally.
So then you got to set new goals.
Do that. Yeah. It's always that's a Japanese mentality, right? There's a constant effort and mastery, and you could never achieve it, regardless of your life. You have to always try to push further, and everything you learn, make sure the next generation doesn't do it. No, we've got to move past this. There is a mountaintop. There is an apex. And once you reach it, it's not going to be what you thought because you found out you've just been walking on flat ground the whole time. It fucking sucks. I remember like I was doing a line work tattoo, just like an etching, like a Durer style, like woodblock print tattoo. I was using, I think, like a Type 3 round. It was like 2-3 years ago. And I'm doing it. And I did this thing, and I've been doing it for years, but I never identified it, where you're varying the depth in which the needle grouping is actually entering the skin, modifying the quantity of pigment that's actually being inserted, right? And like for the first time I noticed it, I went, fuck. I was like, I'm just making a bunch of holes in the skin. And like as soon as that hit me, I was like, oh my God, my job is such bullshit. I'm like, this is so stupid. I've spent 20 years of my fucking life, trying to understand this mythological being, this chimera of tattooing. And it all came down to this weird epiphany, this Buddhist fucking ha ha ha. It's just a bunch of holes. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking suck so much.
Dude, you should talk to Brooke. Because like we've been sitting in the middle of the tattoo shop, and out of nowhere I'd be like, how fucking stupid is it that your job is to just stab people and fucking draw cartoons? And she'll just look at me like, what the fuck? I'm like, in reality, like your job is pretty fucking meaningless. You're just poking holes in people.
Yeah, dude. I always wondered that. I think the tattoos are fucking cool. They're amazing. They're gripping. Like as a viewer, they can evoke something. Like there's an aesthetic, attached to them. But getting a tattoo doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you do that? Like it's so fucking stupid. Like I'm gonna let you cause me pain. I'm gonna cause you money for that result. And I'm gonna look at this for the rest of my life and it's never gonna be perfect.
Yeah, no, human beings, we're fucking bizarre, right? Like we have an inherent nature for self-harm and decoration.
Yeah.
I want to hurt myself and I want to make myself look cooler than what it looks. This is how humans go through life.
Oh my god. That is the end.
This is our generic outro track. Thank you everyone for listening. Remember, please go give us a like, subscribe, review on any of the podcast players or platforms that you enjoy listening to us on. And thanks for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you again next week.